Hello, hello, my darling friends. How is everyone doing today? I am so glad you guys could all make it for today's live because, guys, today is going to be a bit of a poop fest. I'm only 42 seconds into the live show, so I better watch what comes out of my mouth, or this channel, well, we don't want it to get yeeted now, do we? Hello to everyone that has shown up today. I am so glad you guys could all make it here. I see Derek is in the chat once again, throwing out his hilarious jokes. I know you guys are all enjoying those. Thank you, Derek, for always bringing the laughter in the comments. We appreciate you here on my channel. Krista, hello, my darlings. I hope you guys don't mind this photo of Harry. I think it is quite fitting. I had another photo of him up. It was the one of him standing in front of the I am Invictus game, but instead underneath it, it says, I am wanker. But the photo didn't look so good in the little circle. You couldn't see the complete word wanker. So I decided let's just use this one. Hello, B. I see you, my dear. Thank you for making today's show. Okay, guys, we have quite a lot to talk about. So as you're coming in to watch this live and as you're getting your notifications, make sure you hit that like button so that YouTube knows that we're here. Theo, you got your popcorn ready? I'm glad you do, because you know what? I have been sitting on speaking on this topic for the whole weekend. I was going to release a video after I had released my previous one about the compilation of Harry and Meghan getting heckled. If you guys haven't seen that, please go and watch it. It's pretty funny, I think. And I was gonna upload a video right away about the entire African park scandal. And the thing is that I wanted to say something, but I had to wait. I had to wait because I had to get not only more information, but I wanted to put my words together a lot more concisely and just I wanted to paint a better picture of you guys for you guys. Well, my apologies. Okay, so first I think I should poop fest, yum. Yeah, yum, yum, right? I think I should first address, guys, a little bit. I'm getting pulled into a little bit of drama that is currently going on at the moment. And the reason is because I think a lot of people know what is going on. There's a little bit of drama going on in the little YouTube world amongst creators here. And I've been getting a lot of messages. There were a lot of comments also in the comment section here, which I will admit that I deleted because there was a lot of bashing and just a lot of questions about, well, are you going to speak about what is going on? And you guys, I got to tell you, at the end of the day, I am friends with both of these women. And I just, look, I want to address this once so that everyone can stop asking me about it too. So whose side are you picking? Oh dear. Oh dear. It's turned into that. Here's the thing. I'm friends with both of these women. I owe a lot to both of these women because, on one hand, Sue helped me start my channel. And on the other hand, Paula was there when I got demonetized and held my hand and basically helped me out. I am friends to both of these women, and I feel like I've been put into a hard place by having to pick a side. I don't want to pick a side. And at the end of the day, I don't think I should have to pick a side. I think that I think at the end of the day, anything that you put out on your channel that you speak about, you should be held accountable for. It's your channel is your responsibility. However, I will say that going and making a video about what someone else said about their channel is basically instigating a pile on, and I don't approve of that either. So at the end of the day, I'm just gonna stay out of it and I'm friends with both of these women. I'm not going to pick a side. And some folks are saying, well, if you speak with the one that you do on Wednesdays, we're not going to watch your channel. Well, then if you don't want to watch my channel, then I can't force you to watch it. And if you want to make a decision based on that, then that's your choice. Okay. So I hope that answers everyone's question, because it does feel very high schoolish to me. I mean, you could have just ignored the video. It does feel like a pile on. And I just want to remind everyone that we all remember when a few months ago, another YouTuber in this Meghan Markle Harry community had uploaded a video with a fraudulent fake letter from the Queen. I didn't see anyone making videos or like, I don't know. I just say, let people do what they're doing. But the fact that you make a video about it brings more attention to what that person said. And I feel like it's incited a pile on. And I feel like don't kick a person when they're already down. And at the end of the day, I just feel really bad for Paula, because I've been in that situation where people have piled on to me and I don't like it. It's not fun. It's not fair to anyone. If I don't believe with what someone's if I don't agree with what someone says, I'm not going to make a video about it. I'm just going to ignore it and just do my own thing. And I feel like that's what should happen. Just do your own thing. If someone wants to say someone called them, or if someone just whatever, let them deal with it. But I feel like, anyways, I feel like this is all very petty and very high schoolish. And I left high school years ago and I really don't want to get involved. So please don't email me asking me to pick a side. If you're going to email me and tell me that you're unsubscribing, you don't need to email me and tell me that. Just please don't. I don't care. I learned my lesson once by getting involved in drama with that whole Duchess drop bear thing. And I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson that my YouTube listeners don't want to hear that kind of BS and don't want to deal with it. And after that, I just steer clear from it all. And I feel like your channel is your responsibility. You do what you want. And that's the end of it. And I hope that finishes it, and that nobody asks me to pick a side, because at the end of the day, I will always be friends with Sue and I will always be friends with Paula. And that's it. No one can tell me that I have to dump anyone, because what kind of person would be right now, guys? Say if I did dump Paula right now, when everyone is piling on her and sending her horrific comments and being mean to her, what kind of person would I be if I stepped away from her when she was one of the first creators who reached out to me when I got demonetized? I would just look terrible. But I just wanted to say that, and let's move on to what we're actually going to talk about here, right? Because I think I've spent more than enough time talking about this. Okay, guys, so I see Derek is still going in with his little jokes, and anyways. But you guys, it's been how long now? Over a week since we have found out about the entire African park scandal, has it not? And there has been absolute crickets from Harry and Meghan. They have not said a darn thing at all. They've just acted like it doesn't exist. And let me remind you all that this is Harry and Meghan's slogan. Listen to this, my friends. Okay, let me see if you can see this. It's a quick snippet because I don't want to torture you too much with her voice, but listen to this.
If you are complacent, you're complicit. Complacent, you're complicit. If you are complacent, you're complicit.
Now, this is their whole shtick, right? This is Harry and Meghan's whole shtick. They even had, what's his name? Jose Andres, is it? The famous chef? Even he said during his one of his kitchen things that Harry and Meghan run towards disasters. Well, where are Harry and Meghan now? Where is Miss 43% Nigerian standing up for her sisters and brothers now? Where is she? to be standing up for her sisters and brothers now with what is going on, with what we have found out they have known about what is going on. I was just thinking about this. Now I remember I showed you guys this video. Let me show you here of the Baka man, right? Remember this?
Indanga
Oops, sorry.
nganga dutobo bele ko wa kpofe baka ku eduto abelia baka baliki sa bele ngama ma mufe ekogaro wa mefe nganga li abelia bonganga juaka langa omba ojundingini mukondi ango ko ya tinda ojoko fe tune ma
you guys remember me showing you that video. You guys remember how we spoke about how we could see the pain in the eyes of that poor Baka man. It was heartbreaking. Thank you, Civil Defense, for the super chat. You are so kind. Thank you. We could see that he was hurt. And it got me thinking, my friends, about the upcoming Invictus games. And I started thinking, the Invictus games, when Harry and Meghan did this whole thing that they do now with the Invictus games, where they do a 1 year on, right? A year before the actual event, they throw a 1 year to go event where it's just Harry and Meghan going on a taxpayer funded, Invictus funded vacation to do God knows what under the guise of getting people excited for the games, getting the veterans excited for the games, to bring people's attention to the games. After everything that Harry and Meghan have been going through, I think they are the last people to be, I don't know, patrons of a game like this. I mean, I had respect. I will say this honestly, I had respect for the Invictus games before Meghan Markle involved herself in the Invictus games. Because before Meghan Markle invited herself and basically shoehorned herself into the Invictus games, it was actually about the veterans. It was a huge event. The games were something that when you turned on the TV, when the games were on, you would see it on other channels and you would see the actual games and the veterans and the players in the game. You could see who was attending and that the teams that these veterans and these military officials who worked so hard despite having some kind of disability due to them. Guys, I am so just frustrated and upset by this, you guys. Harry and Meghan, when they went to Dusseldorf, they unveiled a new model. And the new motto for the Invictus Games was, let me find an image if I can find it here. Let me see. They had, here it is. So the new motto for Invictus Games in Dusseldorf was this. Let me pull it up here for you guys. Whoa, that's so tiny. Yikes. Here you go. This was the motto. A home for respect. From the two most disrespectful individuals ever. From two people who have done nothing but tarnish and disrespect their own families and everyone around them, but yet they want to push this new motto, a home for respect. I can't be the only one that is laughing at it. Maureen says, Harry and Meghan have done so much damage to the Invictus Games with their presence. Yeah, they definitely have. Meghan Markle first shoehorned herself into the Invictus Games was when, hold on. Was when they were in Australia, right? When they were in Australia, and good grief, I don't know what the hell this outfit was that Meghan walked out in that made her look like a juice box. Because this girl seems to love to just accentuate her juice box-like figure. So it was there that Meghan made her first appearance on stage, talking about how she is so grateful to everyone and is so proud of your achievements. Could you imagine having a person like Meghan Markle who hasn't really, what has she accomplished in her life without a man doing it for her? Nothing really. But this broad is standing on stage and she thinks that just because she married an emotionally stunted, dim-witted ginger who just happened to be a prince, that all of a sudden she's Mother Teresa and gets to lord over everyone. So this girl has a habit of going on stage and telling everyone, I am so proud of you. Who the hell are you to be telling me that you are proud of me? I mean, it would mean something if someone like Michelle Obama or someone like, what's her name? Ruth Bader Ginsburg told me, like, I am so proud of you. That would mean something. Not some ex-cable TV mattress actress who was number 6 on the call sheet in Suits, and she was known for being nude half the time in her scenes. Are you kidding? And we're talking about a home for respect. And here I am thinking, okay, the Invictus Games, if Harry can't even show a modicum of care or respect for the Baka people and the whole African park scandal that's going on, then you bet your sweet behind that Harry does not give an ounce of F's for veterans. Or how about this? Let's talk about whose land these games are being held on. The Invictus Games are being held on Indigenous land. Now, Harry himself has made some kind of blurb about how these games are going to be about truth and reconciliation. I don't even think Harry even knows what he's talking about. Does Harry know anything about the history of Canada? I mean, let's really talk about it. Let's talk about this. Does Harry know about the history of what has happened in Canada? Well, first of all, Susan, you're totally right. You're totally right here. How should I expect Harry to know something when I don't even think this guy can read? Well, no, I'm just being facetious here. We know he can read. We've seen him read, but yes, he can read. Not big words, keep them small, but yeah, I think he can read. But what I've always wondered, like, the Canadian government has given over $30 million. We think it's 30, but at the moment right now, it's more than 30. I'm going to show you guys here because I've got it pulled up. Let me talk about this. Let's talk about this, guys, because this is annoying me. So they basically got a foundation called the True Patriot Love Foundation. Oh, that just the most, like, woke ever, like, title. Anyways, so True Patriot Love Foundation won the bid to bring the Invictus Games to Vancouver. I should let you guys know that Sean Francis, the chair of the board for the True Love True Patriot Love Foundation is good friends with Trudeau. I mean, if this doesn't reek of another We Day disaster, I don't know what does. I think people who know about what the We Day scandal was, I think this will be like sending shivers down your spine. So let me tell you quick facts here. So the government of Canada, through Veterans Affairs Canada. So Veterans Affairs Canada, basically Veterans Affairs is the one that committed $15 million of funding to support the Invictus Games. Veterans Affairs Canada, I know many veterans who have troubles trying to get the basic necessities covered for them through Veterans Affairs Canada because they have some kind of money issue. But here they are throwing $15 million in funding to support the Invictus Games in 2025. And then also on top of that, the government of Canada provided an additional $1 million to the Soldier On program to train and equip Team Canada. I have not seen any reports of what that breakdown of $1 million is. I do not know. I don't know. What have they given? Are they buying new prosthetics for the team members? Are they buying, like, what is going into the training? Who are they paying for the training? I want to see a breakdown, and I haven't been able to find anything like that, which in my terms, in my eyes, if I can't find documents for something, that's a huge red flag. Huge red flag. British Columbians will remember that John Horgan, before he stepped down and now he's working for a coal mine, went on a massive spending spree. And he also committed $15 million of British Columbia taxpayer money to support the Invictus Games. Now, you guys, these amounts, this $31 million that I'm counting here, does not include the cost of whatever security, accommodations, travel, I don't know, fashion, makeup artists, whatever garbage Meghan Markle requires. You are going to be on the hook for that also. You are going to have to pay for that. Now, all this extra money that's being spent could have just gone straight to a Veterans Affairs Fund. It could go towards some charities for veterans. Because still, guys, even though Harry and Meghan had Invictus Games in Dusseldorf, and right before that, they had the Invictus Games at The Hague in 2 quick years, that's a lot of money those teams have to come up with by themselves to come to these games. But all the extra money is going to make trash can ball gowns for Meghan Markle to waltz around, I don't know, Vancouver in like a couple weeks, right? The thing that pisses me off the most is that if Harry can't even acknowledge the atrocities that are going on with the Baka people, and he knew, then what makes him to be the face of, say, Invictus and caring about veterans? And this all under the guise of truth and reconciliation. That's ridiculous. Listen to this. Listen to this. In the spirit of truth and reconciliation, the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025 is dedicated to respecting territorial protocols and cooperating with local Indigenous communities in the planning, execution, participation of the Games. Now, if you guys don't know, the Invictus Games are being held on the Lillooet, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Whoa, that's a hard one. And I want to know, will any of these communities see any revenue trickle down to them? What is the benefit for these communities? Because let me tell you what truth and reconciliation is about. I know they say that they are committed to engage. I don't know. They're going to address Canada's truth and reconciliation calls to action. Clearly, they don't know what they're talking about. I don't even think Harry knows what they're talking about. So let me give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. I think I missed a super sticker here from Charlene of Nebraska. Thank you, my darling. That's very kind of you. Let me give you all a little history lesson here. So September 30th, 2021 was the first time that it was the first National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And that day basically coincides, it's the same as Orange Shirt Day. Orange Shirt Day is about basically to recognize and to honor and remember residential school survivors, their families, and communities. It's basically about raising awareness and promoting awareness and providing education to people about what went on in Canada and the residential school system and the impact that it has had on the Indigenous communities for centuries. I'm going to tell you, and maybe a lot of people don't know this, but we're going all the way back into history. So when John A. Macdonald became the first Prime Minister of Canada, he had a hard on to basically wipe out all the natives that were here. He wanted them to basically assimilate into Canadians. He was one of the first ones that started residential schools. And residential schools were basically schools that were run by the federal government of Canada, but they were staffed and run by religious institutions like the Roman Catholic, Anglican, Presbyterian, Methodist churches, mostly Catholic. And my friends, if this video isn't for you, my friends, I totally understand if you don't want to be here. And I totally get it. If you don't want to be here, you can leave, but you don't have to be rude and nasty in the comments, okay? This is history. This is what happened. Harry is talking about running the 2025 Invictus games under the guise of truth and reconciliation. Well, how are you doing that? Because number one, your games are being held, I don't know, when are they? February? And September 30th is the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And what will you be doing? What will you be doing to honor the children of those who never returned from these residential schools or survivors of residential schools and their families and communities? How are you going to go about this? To me, it feels like, bitch, they're just jumping on another bandwagon and just trying to use this to their advantage because, hey, guess what? Guess what? If we tell Justin Trudeau we're going to do this under the guise of truth and reconciliation, then we can get bigger handout from the federal government. There's more money into our pockets. This is the same guy who hasn't even recognized the Baka people yet. This is the same guy who has yet to say a damn thing about the torture and hurt that they have gone through, and he hasn't said nothing. He's been quieter than a church mouse. The same guy that was running around telling anyone who would listen, my family needs to give Meghan Markle an apology, is quieter than a church mouse. You do not hear him at all. I mean, how can I believe that this guy gives an ounce of a care for veterans? How am I supposed to believe that this guy even cares about the indigenous communities and what they have gone through? I don't even think Harry knows about any days that are special days that are basically recognized by the indigenous communities. Is Harry aware of, let's say, May the 5th? I have never, ever seen Harry recognize or speak out on May 5th, which is Red Dress Day, which is also known as the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls and Two-Spirit people. Has he ever recognized that? No, I don't think so. Has Harry ever worn an orange shirt which recognizes the tragic legacy of residential schools, the missing children, the families left behind, and the survivors? Has he ever done that? But he sure doesn't mind coming over and using their land to host his games on, to fill his pockets with money that they will never, those people in those communities will never see. I mean, what has the world come to? Am I the only one you guys, am I just being a bit over the top to this, about this? I mean, really, at this point, Ginger, you're right. I wouldn't want to see him in an orange shirt. I wouldn't even want to see Harry wearing a red dress. Because to me, it's just fakery. It's just fake. What's the word that I'm looking? You're pretending to care and you don't. You're pretending that you care about these folks and you don't even at all. And I don't want you walking around in an orange shirt or a red dress acting like you care when you've never, ever have. Okay, my chat is going crazy and you guys are talking about that Charles's test results have come back and it's cancer? Hold up. What is going on here? No, not Charles. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Breaking news. Let me just pull this up here, you guys. Hold on. Yeah, Matt Wilkinson, breaking news on Twitter. Okay, let me just stop what I'm talking about so I can bring this breaking news to you guys. And it's not the type of breaking news that I like to share, but since he is the king, we need to know this. So Buckingham Palace has, okay, a statement from Buckingham Palace. During the King's recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, a separate issue of concern was noted. Subsequent diagnostic tests have identified a form of cancer. His Majesty has today commenced a schedule of regular treatments, during which time he has been advised by doctors to postpone public-facing duties. Throughout this period, His Majesty will continue to undertake state business and official paperwork as usual. The King is grateful to his medical team for their swift intervention, which was made possible thanks to his recent hospital procedure. He remains wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to a full public duty as soon as possible. His Majesty has chosen to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation and in the hope it may assist public understanding for all those around the world who are affected by cancer. Wow, guys, look, all we can say is we all know someone who has had cancer in their lives. And I feel with all the stress and nonsense that is going on, the extra stress it's taken a toll on Charles, guys. I send all my, despite I'm hard on Charles at time, I will admit I do call him a wet wipe at times. Nobody wants news like this, and I am an empathetic person. And when things get tough, I can never kick a person when they're down like this. And we should all send out our prayers, be thankful that it's been spotted early. And as many do say, stress does cause cancer. And I hope that, I'm sorry that I had to break this horrible news to you guys in the middle of my stream, but I feel like I had to bring this to you. This is very important. And I think I will discuss this in another video, but thoughts and prayers go out to King Charles. You guys know that King Charles has the finest medical team around him. So we all know he's in good hands. I'm glad that he's listening to his doctors. I feel like, you know what, Harry, you fucked up, man. Big time. God, this is a lot. This is a lot, guys. I've got goosebumps on my arms right now. I mean, this is crazy, but yeah, we'll discuss this in another video. But yeah, we should send out our thoughts and prayers to King Charles. We know that he has the best medical team around him, and best wishes to him on a quick recovery, and hopefully treatment won't be so hard on him. I believe that, honestly, with this news, maybe Harry and Meghan are going to milk it to their benefit, or maybe they're going to be complete pricks and just not say anything like they have been. Just don't say a damn thing. I know that their Sussex squad are probably going nuts online and probably putting up stupid things like heading out to go buy a coffin for King Charles when he croaks, because that is exactly what they did to Prince Philip and the Queen. They'll definitely make it all about themselves. Yeah, they will. And I hope they don't say anything. I feel bad for Prince William. I mean, imagine your wife, who is your rock, had to undergo a medical procedure, and now your own father, and dealing with this. You guys, we need to send our positive thoughts for William, because he's got a mountain of stress on his shoulders at the moment. They must have known, because he is the one doing the investitures today. So as I always say, the power of positive thoughts is real. And I feel like if we're all positive and we just put out good vibes, everything will be okay. I feel like 2024 has started off on a real bang and a real shit show. But I feel like we need to get over the shit show before the actual reckoning starts to happen. You know how they always say there's a little bit of craziness before the shit really hits the fan? I feel this is just a little bit of craziness before the shit really hits the fan and we see what happens. It does feel like the monarchy is falling apart. It does. I feel like the whole slimming down the monarchy and everything was a bad idea on Charles's part, to be honest. But then he also had to weed out the snakes that are in the family. I wish he could get people like, say, Mike Tyndall and Zara on board. And I hope that Lady Louise will come on board soon, or even her brother. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, positive thoughts for King Charles. I send my prayers and best wishes to him. And guys, if the two morons do make an announcement, then you bet your sweet ass it'll be all about themselves. It'll be all about themselves. And King Charles needs to get rid of the cancer. Harry is the cancer. Meghan is the cancer. There was news reports coming out this morning that, oh, Harry and Meghan have been downgraded on the royal family website. No, they haven't. They're still there under working members. If you want to talk about Harry and Meghan being downgraded off the royal family website, hey, guess what? Here's an idea. Take them off the damn website. I don't understand why three idiots, Larry, Curly, and Mo, being Andrew, Meghan, and Harry, are still on the website. Princess Anne is the hardest working member. I wish she would just be like, look, Charles, just get rid of the idiot. Be done with him. Because like now, Charles had a benign tumor. They cut it out. Take it out. So look at it this way. Harry and Meghan are the same. They are a tumor, as Schwarzenegger would say. Cut them out. Take them out. Why do you still have them? I think once, I've always said, I feel like once Charles just rips the goddamn Band-Aid off of them, who cares about the backlash? They've already called you racist. They already called you every single thing they could under the sun. What could be worse than you being called a racist? Just get rid of them. Once you cut out the cancer, you will feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. But let me get back into this whole Invictus games. Where was I? Okay. So we were talking about the history of residential schools, right? Am I right there? Yes. Angel, I just covered the breaking news. You just got to go back a little bit more. But yes, I did cover it just now. And I'm just going to, go on with what we were speaking about, and then I'll cover Charles's medical issue in another video real quick. Okay, my friends? But let me start here. So we were talking about the residential school systems, and Harry and Meghan have never once recognized what the Indigenous community has gone through, the atrocities that they have faced, but also, like, you're bringing the Invictus games to their lands. What benefits are these communities going to see from your games? Because I still don't know what the benefits of the Invictus games when they were held at The Hague were for that country. The Invictus games in the Netherlands, they spent over 40 million euros for that game. They were only supposed to give 25 million, but somehow it ballooned to 40 million. And for some reason, people still keep laying down and allowing Harry and Meghan to just walk all over them. And it wasn't much for tourism because not that many people went there. When you looked at the stands, Ross, they were empty. They were empty. What they would do is that they would keep the camera shots real tight and pack all the people into like one section and make it appear like it was a full stadium. But then when you got the wide angle shots, you would know. You would see that the entire stadium was empty. The same goes with, let's say, the recent Invictus games in Dusseldorf. My apologies, in Dusseldorf. MeghansMole, the CEO of BlackRock, which invests in Africa, was doing speeches at the well, that explains it all now, doesn't it? Thank you, Harriet. Thank you so much for that. I should start looking into that also. Hold on. Gwen, I missed your super chat here. You say, after this news, Casey really needs to start making concrete changes. Do you think he will, though? That's the thing, because it's almost like the same thing about the Queen. They said the Queen didn't want to make any concrete decisions or deal with it because of her ill health. So what are they going to do? Just pass the buck on to William to deal with? I mean, I really don't know. I don't know, my friends. I really don't know. After I finish this live, I need to sit and marinate in my juices and thoughts in my juices. I mean, in my thoughts, and I'll have a video for you guys on that a little bit later. But can I tell you guys one thing here? I don't know if you guys know this, but Pierre Trudeau, Justin Trudeau's father, in 1969, he tried to set forth a proposal from the government of Canada related to the First Nations. So Prime Minister Trudeau, Pierre, Justin's alleged father. Some people say that Justin Trudeau's father is Fidel Castro. I don't know, but Trudeau's father had came up with a proposal with his Minister of Indian Affairs at the time. And many people will remember this if they were alive at that time, because this was in 1969. Jean Chrétien at the time was the Minister of Indian Affairs. So Jean Chrétien and Pierre Trudeau had proposed an act to basically abolish all legal documents that had previously existed, including but not limited to the Indian Act and all existing treaties within Canada comprising the Canadian Aboriginal law. Basically, he was proposing to assimilate all First Nations as an ethnic group, but they're equal to all Canadian citizens. So basically, there are certain rights that Indigenous communities have, and he wanted those rights taken away. He didn't want them to have those special rights. He didn't want them to have because the First Nations people have a restricted status to Indians on their reserves, right? So they have status on their reserve, but then Trudeau wanted to take that away from them. He wanted so that they were completely abolished, that you weren't going to be recognized anymore as a First Nations member. You are going to be known as a Canadian now. That's what he tried to do. And I don't know if a lot of people will remember seeing this, but Pierre Trudeau had quite a standoff with Canadian chiefs. Can you guys see this? That's Justin's father right here. He wanted them to have zero rights. He didn't want them to have anything. Him and Jean Chrétien wanted that. And I got to remind people that the First Nations people did fight in the First and Second World Wars on behalf of the United Kingdom. And then after the wars, the First Nation people had returned home motivated to improve their status and living conditions in Canada. But then in 1945, the government had abolished the pass system, which was basically their restricted status to reserves. They could not leave, basically, their reserves without having a special pass that was issued by an Indian agent. They abolished that because before, First Nations people couldn't leave their reserves without having a pass. And they abolished that. So just a little bit of history here for you guys. I don't know what you think about, I don't know if you guys even care about knowing all of this information, but I'm just saying that when Trudeau won the election in 1968, basically his slogan was just society. And then with Jean Chrétien as his Minister of Indian Affairs, those two people who basically know nothing. It's always people who know nothing about what they're trying to amend that always screw it up the most. Like, look at it this way right now. African parks, instead of enlisting the help of the Baka people who live there, who know their land, who know anything about that area better than anyone else would, they brought in outsiders to try and tell them, oh, this is how you should be living on this land and this is how you should be doing everything. Like, get lost. Seriously, get lost. You cannot tell people that have been here longer than you that, well, you know what? You're going to have to do this now because I am the white man and I have white savior complex and you don't know as much as I do and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to tell you how to live your life. And if you don't listen, I'm going to torture you. I'm going to rape you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to beat you. And just so you guys know, YouTube is really, really suppressing anyone's video who speaks on this topic. I had done a live about the whole African park scandal when the news broke. And within 5 minutes of starting that live, that video was limited. It got demonetized and they weren't sharing it out into the algorithm. This video, same thing. The Duchess of Sussex uploaded an amazing video about everything that's going on. And they also did it to her video too. They limited it. So clearly, we must be speaking about something right here that they don't want others to know about. And if you need to suppress our videos, and if you need to suppress our opinions based on the facts and what we see is happening, and we're sharing our truth, well, which is the actual truth. But you are suppressing and censoring our videos, which is speaking about it. Like what Harry and Meghan are coming to, are going to Whistler in like what, 2 weeks, right? Why? Now, let me remind you that with Harry and Meghan traveling there for the 2 days, you're going to have to think about Canadian taxpayers, Vancouverites especially. You are going to be on the hook for their private jet, their cameraman, their top accommodations, because, you know, Meghan Markle just won't stay anywhere now. She needs the entire floor of a hotel room completely emptied for her. And don't forget that they aren't nice to the staff either. They have all their stipulations. Don't look at me in the eye. Don't make eye contact. Don't speak to unless spoken to. Yes, the same stipulations they had against the staff at the Carlisle. And this is all going to come out of your pockets. This money that could go towards like these Indigenous communities are going into their pockets. I am absolutely disgusted. I think I should make another video speaking about this because people need to know about the history of Canada and the residential schools and what the Indigenous people have gone through. And Harry wants to trot on over and say, well, we're going to have these games on and remember truth and reconciliation. Let me find exactly what Harry said. Let's see what he actually said here. Jesus. So this whole 1 year to go thing that Harry and Meghan started doing with when they had the Invictus games in the Netherlands is such a cash grab for them. Now, remember, Harry never used to have a 1 year to go event before Meghan involved herself in the Invictus games. There never used to be anything of that sort, ever. But now all of a sudden they have a 1 year to go where they show up to the location that they're hosting the games and, I don't know, spend taxpayers' money. Because I don't even know what the hell they're probably going to do here. What's their plan? To go walk around Whistler Village? I don't get it. To me, it seems like they just are wasting money that could be going towards the veterans, the games, and what the entire organization is supposed to be about. If Invictus and the people at Invictus had 2 brain cells amongst them in that boardroom, then they will tell Meghan Markle to stay the F home. We all saw how Harry was he was actually involved with the games. He was involved with the athletes at the games when he was in Dusseldorf. The first 3 days when Harry was at Invictus in Dusseldorf by himself, he was interactive. He was happy, speaking with the athletes, going to the games. We actually knew what was going on. And then Meghan shows up, tells this BS story about milkshakes and this nonsense. And all you see the entire time for the rest of the games are Meghan's ugly clothes, her walking in front of veterans and disrespecting them in her romper. And then it was all about Meghan, which we later found out that, it was because Harry and Meghan had a special WhatsApp group with reporters so they could stay updated on Meghan's fashions to let everyone know. Invictus Games was doing great until Meghan Markle showed up. And everything she touches goes to literal hell. I'm shocked and appalled, and I felt like I had to do this live speaking about this because I'm actually disgusted. I'm highly disgusted that now Harry is being allowed to use the Indigenous community under the guise of helping them out. I wanted to also remind everyone that the Invictus Games, let me share this with you because I wanted to make this live to be very quick here. I didn't want it to be too long. Molly, how are you not seeing the news? Sue, I did see the news. I've already commented on it. I think that maybe you just missed it. But yeah, to everyone that's coming into the chat asking me, why aren't you just discussing the news about Charles and his recent cancer prognosis? I have already addressed that earlier in this live. You just have to go back a little bit and I will address it in another video, my friends. It's all good. But my friends, I wanted to show you this. So Invictus Games Foundation is registered under the charity commissions in England and Wales. I want to show you guys that the Invictus Games Foundation charity number 1159482, if you scroll down to the very, very bottom, under fundraising, it says, this charity does not raise funds from the public. Do we all see this? I see that there's 1,081 of you guys here in the chat, and please hit the like button so that my video can get out into the algorithm. Now that YouTube I can see that they are censoring my video, so not many people are going to see it. Yes, apparently I'm doing something right here, and YouTube is now censoring this live so that it doesn't get out into the algorithm. So you need to hit the like button so that it can get pushed out into the algorithm, basically. So here it says fundraising. This charity does not raise funds from the public. We all see this? We all see this, right? So let me go here. The True Patriot Love Foundation, which is the foundation which is hosting the games, when you go onto their page, their homepage, right here, donate. They're asking for funds from the public. Look at this. Donate now. You can, or give in honor, or give in memory. Do you see how they tug at the heartstrings here to get you? Oh, you guys can't see this? Oops. Donate. It goes to a different screen. That's okay. Hold on a second. I see what I did wrong. So when you hit donate, it goes to another screen. And this screen brings you to another screen. And the issue tax receipts. Well, I guess, okay, good for you. You issue tax receipts. But yes, donate now, give in honor. You can choose a one-time fee or a monthly fee, my friends. Now, doesn't this seem like they're asking the Invictus Games X homepage? I've been asking them about Harry. And every time I ask them, they hide my questions. Now, I don't think I'm being rude or anything about the way that I go about asking my question because, well, let's just get to the damn point. Let me show you here. So I tagged them. I said, hey, quick question for you. Since Harry doesn't care about the Baka people and the horrific torture and rape at the hands of the guards hired by their organization, then why should I think Harry cares about the Canadian Indigenous communities which the Vancouver Invictus Games are being held on their land? I'm guessing the people of these communities won't see a lick of any funds. And once again, Harry is using Indigenous communities and their land to exploit and make money off, which is basically what African Parks is doing right now. They're basically kicked off the Indigenous people and they're using their land and exploiting them. And I continue on and I say, I have never once heard Harry mention the atrocities in the Indigenous communities they have faced at the hands of the RCMP and Canadian government in residential schools. Can someone explain what do the Indigenous communities have to do with the veterans and the Invictus Games? The same applies to his harlot who thinks the games is all about her tacky, super ugly clothes and horsehair. Has Meghan Markle ever addressed these issues? Of course not, but they have no problems for using their land for profit. So the Invictus Games, they actually hid my comment. Yeah, they keep hiding my comments. Instead of answering the question that everyone wants to know, they hide the comments. And for that reason, I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump on here and do a live about this because people need to know. People need to know about this. They need to know about the history of residential schools and what the Indigenous community have faced. And let's be honest, Meghan Markle doesn't give two figs for the Indigenous community. I think that Meghan Markle, if anything, is probably grossed out by the Indigenous people. And that's just my opinion. But also, it's something that I just feel. It's just something that I feel. And yeah, horsehair. Irene, I think maybe the horsehair comment is the reason why they put it in, they hid my comment, but who knows? But let me talk to you guys about this. When Meghan Markle hugs someone, Meghan Markle, when she hugs a person, she throws their arms around them. You know, Meghan Markle doesn't want to hug a person when she always has her elbow in between to keep a distance. And here, Meghan Markle is hugging what I think is, I'm guessing it's because this is a Salish blanket. So I'm thinking he's a chief, and she just looks so grossed out. Just look at her face. It's like, if you don't want to hug someone, then why do it? She looks literally like not enjoying it like she usually does. But let's just say that this professional woman who wants to be taken seriously had no problems throwing on. She thought that this event was for her to wear butt pads and bring attention to her rear in this very thin dress, while we all know she's flatter than a pancake's bottom. Right? Pancake booty. But you think that these games are for you to wear butt pads. So you know where her mentality is. You know that she doesn't care about the Indigenous people. Does Meghan care about Indigenous people? Does she even care about Black people? Does she care about her own family? No, none of these people. She doesn't even care about the Baka people either. But yet, Canadians, you should start revolting about this. You should be pissed off that this is happening. You should be writing to your government constituents, like your MPs, your city workers, and stuff like that. Call and complain, because this isn't right. Let's be honest, this isn't right. Harry and Meghan are just running around under the guise of, oh, we care about these people. They don't. Gwen says, do you think they scheduled this IG countdown to coincide with the BAFTAs? The BAFTAs are always in February. All I know is that these two are always doing something to garner attention for themselves. I say, let's keep an eye on what's going on, because I bet you when they show up to do their 1 year to go thing, it's going to be all about them. Like it always is. It's never about the actual cause. If this is the big difference between William and Catherine and Harry and Meghan, William and Catherine always highlight the cause and what they're speaking about, whereas Harry and Meghan, it's always about me, 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 right? But with that said, my friends, I'm going to run here because now I have to sit and have a few thoughts about this Charles news, and I'm going to make up a little video about that one. Yes, Nova Ray, I'm seeing the stuff in the chat regarding the king, and I did address it earlier in this live. Trust me, I'm not that cold-hearted where I would just ignore some breaking news like that. I got to thank the people in the comments who actually were the ones who brought the breaking news to my attention. But I'm going to do a different video on that for you guys. I think at the moment we need to keep this whole African park scandal. And why is Harry a patron for these businesses and these companies and these organizations when he doesn't even have his own house in order? The guy doesn't even care about his own family, but I'm supposed to think that he's got compassion for complete strangers. Yeah, right. Go take a flying leap. Thank you, you guys, so much for joining me here today. I think we should just send positive thoughts and prayers to King Charles. Remember, he has one of the best medical team around him. I'm sure he will be in good hands. But like I said earlier about how when you have a tumor, you cut it out. Well, Charles should really think about cutting out Harry and Meghan, because they're just going to milk this and make it about them. And stress does cause cancer. On that note, my friends, I will keep talking about this African park scandal. I will keep bringing up the fact that Harry is a dimwit who gives no frigs about himself, about anyone but himself. And make sure you hit the like button on your way out, because YouTube has now demonetized this video. They don't want us to talk about this topic, so you know that we are on the right track since they do that. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me here today. I love you all very much. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you to those who sent a super chat. That was very sweet of you. I appreciate it. And yes, you guys, that's all we can do is just talk about the scandals so that we keep the momentum going. Don't let them brush it under the carpet. Okay, my lovelies? I will see you soon in one of my short form videos, and I will catch you all later. Stay gorgeous, my lovelies. Take care and send those positive thoughts to King Charles. Bye.